Jun deck. This is kind of a Lauren Nolan style deck. We saw Lauren Nolan preview this at the Star City Open in Cincinnati, and Robert Knowles, he's definitely made a few changes, but the core of the deck is still there. He still has his Huntmasters, Thragtusks, and Olivias, and his Farseeks and Rakdos key runes. Complementing them, he's gone with a few more X spells. He has 2 Bonfire of the Damned, 2 Rakdos' Return, so he knows the importance of going big in this metagame.
Yeah, Rakdos' Return is one of those cards that really helps go over the top of the Bant decks.
Yeah, it's just a Fireball / Mind Twist, or Mind Shatter.
Yeah.
3 Dreadbore, 2 Pillar, a Mizium Mortars, a Sever, a Tribute, an Ultimate Price, a couple Abrupt Decays. So Robert's also really diversified his removal here. He has answers to everything, including Planeswalkers, with the 3 Dreadbore, which is pretty cool. 1 Underworld Connections, so he has a little card draw himself. And a smattering of Planeswalkers. He has 1 each of Garruk Relentless, Vraska the Unseen, and Liliana of the Veil. So he's really diverse. His only core is the Farseeks and the Thragtusks. Those are the only non-land 4-ofs in his deck.
Right. Yeah, so really, it's, once again, you know, went to the old trade binder and just pulled out a bunch of the things you've gotten out of draft. And, you know,
and here it is again in the sideboard, 1 Staff of Man.
1 Staff of Man, so that, the card really picking up, especially just in this, in this like modular good stuff. Metagame, it is a decent option. Surprisingly, he's having that over more underworld connections, but probably correct. So 6, Robert Knowles on 6, it appears.
And there's the good luck.
And yeah.
And the okay from the table
did not look to
judge.
be happy with his keep there. So Blood Crypt to play tapped for Knowles. We'll start with Prosak's Tempo deck, just with basic Island and pass of the turn.
Now, if I'm Robert Knowles, that's not what I would expect from Adam Prosak. I'd expect some sort of Jun shenanigans from him. But showing his blue-white colors, no Augur of Bolas. That's the only relevant creature he could have on turn 2 here.
Yep.
And Robert Knowles, no Farseek, no 2-drop, no nothing. Prosak's just cycle. You know, it's interesting. Adam is a Rune Chanter's Pike deck, but he's only playing 2. It's really more of a late game 4-mana burn spell than anything else.
Yeah. Alright, so Huntmaster of the Fells will get Essence Scattered.
And just to let you guys know, Robert did start this game on 6 cards. Adam on 7, Robert on 6.
So the interesting thing is that at some point Adam needs to get a threat down, which he doesn't actually have yet. So we see a bunch. We see Pillar, Dreadbore, Sever from Knowles. No creature threat though.
You know, and you know, if Adam has any kind of value spell, he's going to start to pull pretty far ahead.
So Thought Scour and Unsummon and a Glacial Fortress into the yard.
Adam's happy to just build up his graveyard here.
And end step Snapcaster, the Thought Scour. Alright, so now he has a creature down. And that'll put Restoration Angel and Plains into the yard. So he's filled up his yard decently for a Pike, if he can get one.
Yeah, I think even at this point, though, he's going to keep up at least the threat of counter magic.
I agree.
At the end of Robert's turn, he kind of asked him, can I still go? You know, do you want to kill the Snapcaster? Yeah. And I feel like with Robert's hesitation, he has to know that there's at least 1 kill spell in the hand.
Right, but all of Robert's kill spells actually are sorceries. So you sometimes want to ask that question because they'll give you a good read on whether or not your opponent actually has a way to do it.
Yeah. Most of them are sorcery speed. He has 7 sorcery speed and only 4 instant speed ways.
Right. So Woodland Cemetery comes down for Robert Knowles, and he will make Olivia Voldaren. That one's going to have a counter spell. Prosak does, he's going to Snapcaster the Essence Scatter.
So Olivia down, and I think Prosak's out of counters right now. He does have a clock, though, on Robert for a turn. Especially if he can ever land a Pike. Another Snapcaster and Unsummon. So Adam Prosak, though, it doesn't really look like he has that much of a clock. He really does. Robert Knowles has to resolve a relevant spell this turn here. Another Snapcaster at the ready.
Yeah.
Syncopate at the ready.
Snapcaster is such a powerful card. Yeah, Prosak really is just has to hold on from this point, and he will cast Sever. That's gonna clear. That's gonna easily get syncopated. Instead he's gonna unsummon the Snapcaster in response for a much stronger play.
Yep, the Sever is fizzled, gets countered for lack of targets.
Using Snapcast his own Azorius Charm to cycle that.
So all these Snapcasters are just cantrips here. Cantrips or counterspells.
He's starting to get a little heavy on lands. And there comes Rune Chanter's Pike.
Actually, though, only 2 instants left in the graveyard.
Right.
He'll just keep up counter mana instead. That'll be like his last heave finish.
Plays a land pass, turning Knowles down to 10. Prosak doesn't need. Yeah, it didn't. The Pike doesn't really increase his clock. He put 8 then to 2. Yeah, it doesn't actually change the clock. So.
Knowles with Rakdos's return in hand. Clearing out Adam's hand would be good, but that's not what he needs to be doing right now.
Right.
He's going to die to these creatures.
I mean, Prosak's deck's preying on the fact that a lot of people are just, continually tapping out for threats.
Right.
For 5 mana things. It's really embarrassing when plays like that happen.
Yeah, when you spend 5, he spends 2, and you don't get anything of value.
Right, he's going to haunt the Angel probably on end step here just to make sure that the clock is exactly 2 turns. Yep, make a Spirit token.
Yep, even with end of turn Snapcaster, he didn't have quite enough to kill Robert.
Yeah, he has 3 instants in the yard, so it's not actually lethal. Yeah, right, Snapcaster into play, no targets, and this will be lethal.
Oh, 3
with the
instants.
Pike.
Okay.
Yeah, because the third one was the Syncopate that
right.
just cast. Pike equipped, that's lethal. There we are, so Prosak wins the first game, chipping away, showcasing the power of Snapcaster Mage, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame that there's no more Invitational. Not Star City Invitational, that is Wizards of the Coast sponsored Invitational, but for a last Invitational card, Snapcaster is a pretty good design. And yeah, it's super powerful, but not too much so, I don't think. Adam Prosak using it right there to handily defeat Robert Knowles, countering or bouncing every spell he tried to play. And really, I think that's how this matchup's going to play out. I think that's almost exactly how most games are going to go.
That's exactly how Prosak wants the match to play out, for sure. Yeah, so what can Knowles do to combat that? I mean, I think what he almost has to worry about is, like, Prosak's deck might beat itself. We did see a triple Snapcaster draw from Prosak, which has got to be exactly what his deck wants. So our question would be, like, can he, if his deck can consistently play that game, that seems, that I think he's very favored here.
Yeah, I mean, Robert Knowles really, he doesn't have that many relevant plays early. They're all removal spells. He basically has to have a turn 2 Farseek. That's his ideal draw. He should mulligan pretty aggressively if he doesn't. He has to get out of the gates fast. After board, for plays less than 3 or 4 mana, he has 2 Deathrite Shaman, which is okay. It'll probably come in here.
Yeah, I mean, he just needs a Deathrite Shaman, especially would be good against a Snapcaster Mage style deck. So it'll get the graveyard. It's an early threat, despite the fact that, and especially when your opponent's Thought Scouring, there's a non-zero chance that he might even be able to make a mana with it, which would be, I mean, incredible for Robert Knowles.
Right. So he has 2 Deathrite Shaman. Those will definitely come in. He has 1 Golgari Charm, which might come in against the Snapcasters.
Yeah, they're not bad there. The problem is that outside of Snapcasters, it doesn't really have much utility. He hasn't seen any enchantments yet to get rid of either, so I'd say take it or leave it with Golgari Charm.
He has 2 Appetite for Brains.
Yeah, and that's definitely for the ramp matchups.
Right.
So that wouldn't be.
That one shouldn't be coming in here. Zealous Conscript's not that great. Really, the problem with most of his sideboard cards is that they're all very powerful, but they all cost 5 or more.
Right.
How about on Adam's side?
On the other side, on Adam's side, he has 3 Geist of St. Traft in his sideboard. He doesn't have any of them in the main deck, which is peculiar. I think he really probably likes his main deck a lot in this matchup. The other cards he has Fate's Shield, Detention Sphere, Supreme Verdict. Obviously not boarding in the Verdict here. I'm not sure how many of these things he's putting in. The best thing I like is Detention Sphere. It's pretty good at getting rid of a lot of the things that Robert Knowles taps out for.
Right, like for example, Olivia Valdarin, which if resolved is very hard to beat for Adam.
Right.
I actually think we might see him bring in the Faith Shield here. He didn't see much removal from Robert Knowles, but he has to figure it's there. These Jund-style decks always play a bunch of removal spells. We might see that one. I don't know, though. Adam doesn't have that much to take out. That's kind of the problem. His deck is a pretty well-oiled machine. I guess... Now, I was going to say he could maybe take out Azorius Charm, but even that is just... That's such a hard card to cut because it's so versatile.
Well, he wants to make sure that he has this Snapcasters can always draw cards. Yeah, Azorius Charm's pretty versatile. You're right, the putting of something on top effect is not very good here, so as a result, he may end up cycling it a lot.
Yeah, I think more than half the time it's going to be cycled.
So that's something he can shave if he wants to. So, he could possibly play Geist of St. Traps over that in this matchup. But the card is still pretty powerful. The fact that you can just cycle it at 2 means he may just stick mostly with his main deck.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see many changes here. Maybe 2 or 3 cards at the very most for Adam Prosak. It's nice too with the Azorius Charm because that basically means you're never going to waste mana. Because if you say go with a counter up and your opponent plays around that in some way, you can still always cycle the Azorius Charm, use your mana, and not have it go to waste.
Knowles keeping on the play. Prosak keeping as well. Alright, so we've seen Chilling Bloodcurse from Robert Knowles. Followed up by a just Island from Prosak.
No dual land. Doesn't look like any white mana yet for Prosak.
And not have Thought Scour. So there's Glacial Fortress. Pass back. He has quite a few lands here, it appears. And they'll end step Think Twice. So still not much in the early game, despite the fact that one of them is playing a tempo deck.
Yeah, even this tempo deck though, it's kind of slow out of the gates. He has no 1-drops. He has only 4 2-drops that he actually wants to cast on 2.
So neither player with anything until turn 4, well, other than Think Twice. Knowles deciding whether he wants to start trying for spells. He'll go for Garruk Relentless. Prosak probably debating if he can deal with that if he lets it resolve.
Right, it looks like Prosak a little light on counter spells. Going to save his counter.
And Garruk will probably make a wolf.
Seems like the right play. There is that wolf. And end of turn, Prosak will just cycle an Azorius Charm. Interesting that he kept 1 mana up. He didn't just flash back his Think Twice. Not really sure what that's all about. Maybe he just really wanted to draw Thought Scour off his Azorius Charm.
I mean, if he thinks twice, he's going to have to discard in that situation.
That's true too.
Yeah, he appears to be pretty heavy on land. And the attack with First Blood will get Prosak down to 18.
Yeah, the first time Robert Knowles has gotten to enter the combat phase in this match.
Yeah. Just make another wolf. This is really helping Robert put pressure on Prosak without committing to the board. Question is whether or not he wants to commit farther. Robert Knowles is contemplating that himself. And it looks like he's going to go for Huntmaster of the Fowls.
Yeah, he's probably debating whether or not Adam Prosak could have something like Supreme Verdict in his deck. He might not have read the article on Star City Select. So Think Twice flashback at the end of Robert's turn. Rewind countered the Huntmaster.
Yeah. And then he'll make Augur of Bolus, top 3 cards.
And ships him to the bottom.
Alright, no luck on that one. The Augur that's even in a deck packed with spells, the problem Augur misses more often than one might initially assume.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate how often it does. I always tried to make that guy work in limited, and you needed so many spells.
Almost unplayable. I mean, not unplayable, but like very clearly not unplayable. The body's almost fine up. Yeah, not great and limited.
Yeah, you had to accept the fact that oftentimes it was just going to be a Lumen Grid Warden 2 for a 1/3.
So he's going to opt to make more wolves as opposed to fighting the Augur of Bolas. Apparently, I think he would rather just have wolves than death. I don't think he wants it to switch to death touch wolves, which is kind of the goal here.
No, I don't think so either. I think he's really content to just keep churning out these 2/2s. That's great against Adam.
He's instead going to dreadboard the Augur of Bolas.
Okay,
And then swing for 4. Prosak drops to 14.
That doesn't seem so bad.
There are not many good targets for dreadboard in this matchup, actually. So it's a good use of one. It used it basically as a making a wolf. Another Augur drawn for Prosak. He got a lot going on, but a lot of cards, but not much going on. Alright, so we see Dissipate, Rune Chanter's Pike, and Land. So Dissipate is what's going to come into his hand. Good here, but this Garruk Relentless really is just being relentless.
Really living up to his name here.
Yeah.
Adam Prosak, not much in the way of permanent bouncing. He has unsummons.
So he's going to end step Abrupt Decay. So
wow.
Knowles is dumping his hand here. At that point, I'm not sure he is increasing his clock still. So he has a Thrag Tusk in hand, a little more pressure. He's going to swing 6. Dress Prosak to 8 with another Wolf activation. It's going to be on Prosak to do something here.
Yeah, he has 1 or 2 turns here, and that's going to be it.
Yeah. Prosak with a Snapcaster Mage and an Azorius Charm.
Yeah, I'm looking at Adam's sideboard. I'm looking at Adam's main deck. He doesn't have that many cards to dig himself out of this hole. Whatever he does, it's probably going to involve a Detention Sphere on the Wolf tokens.
Right. Presuming he's boarded, remember, he does have 3 Detention Spheres in the sideboard.
Yeah, and if they weren't in the deck for game 2, they'll certainly be in the deck for game 3.
Interesting. So now Knowles, opts to flip his own Garruk by fighting his own wolf. Yeah, which is interesting because he did that instead of hitting the Augur of Bolas that was on the battlefield last turn.
Right. Yeah, I'm not sure I like that because now, exactly, it can get Snapcaster Mage. The Garruk Veil Cursed can easily die to a Snapcaster.
Yeah, so Prosak's going to end step Snapcaster Mage, draw a card. Yeah, looks like Prosak. I mean, I think he can take out the Garruk and still be reasonably in this game now. A wing door's been open for him.
Yeah, I think I would like to see why Robert flipped that Garruk.
Well, yeah, he could have had 4 2/2s in play, which I think in retrospect he probably wishes he would have had.
Yeah. Yeah, Garrick's down. Adam doesn't look like he can figure out what's going on exactly. You saw that look on his face, like, man, what?
Passes back to turn. So, with the other Azorius Charm in his graveyard, this one Snapcaster in his hand could take care of, everything. He does have a Dissipate that we know about. So, Snapcaster, Charm a Wolf, Block a Wolf, Dissipate whatever you cast, and he's good.
Yeah, he's way good if he does that.
I think that's what he's doing. So both wolves attack for Robert, and I think looks like Prosak's doing that exact line. He'll cast Snapcaster on Azorius Charm and Charm a Wolf. And block the other one. Yep. So Prosak has stabilized now thanks to untimely Garruk flip. And he has this Dissipate up, which Knowles knows about.
Yeah, now, we see Knowles with the Bonfire in his hand. Right now, that's for 2.
For 3, yeah, 7 lands.
For 3, 7 lands, not 6.
But it's just for getting dissipated.
Right.
Well, wait a minute, this Thrag Tusk, for eat the first Dissipate.
Snap Dissipate from Adam. He knows he can't let that card resolve.
Alright, so Adam kind of sculpting out the rest of the game here. He's got a Liliana and a Bonfire to beat up from Knowles' hand.
Adam not missing any land drops here. Think twice in hand. So think twice Azorius Charm. Not sure what those other 2 cards are though.
It looks like he has a Thought Scour in his hand. I'm not positive there either. Alright, so we'll see. Knowles has to try to make another threat on the board. He's got Adam more than halfway dead. He's going to go, can start for a Liliana, which I'm Prosak, I'm not sure I care about too much. I might just let that resolve.
Yep, the Liliana, it doesn't really do a heck of a lot. It kills the Snapcaster Mage, but I think he's going to Thought Scour first.
Knowles has drawn Olivia Voldaren as his other card. That's, remember, fairly relevant. Yep. So he's going to minus the Liliana. Now, if he goes for Olivia, it's going to be really bad if he goes for Olivia. So I don't think he does. It's going to be a Thought Scour by Prosak, hitting land and an Augur Bolus, drawing yet another land for Adam Prosak. End step, think twice. Finding a rewind. He could end step using think twice again. He's not going to snap the think twice.
Yeah, he knows that Liliana, he has one more turn before that Liliana gets out of Snapcaster Mage range. He'll give it one
he
more
makes
turn.
Another land drop despite his opponent having a Liliana.
Yeah, that's interesting. I hope he has another land in hand. I don't like that at all.
So it's Bonfire, Olivia, Kessig, Wolfrun for Knowles.
Yeah, I'm not sure I like that land drop either.
Yeah, I really don't like that land drop. But, you know, I would have planned to plus the Liliana. Well, possibly not. I mean, if he's really nervous about Restoration Angels or Snapcaster Mages, he might just think, you know, the Liliana's done.
Right. She's done her job.
She's done her job, yeah. It was an edict.
Kessig Wolfrun is very good too. And, you know, especially with Adam playing out that island, Robert has to think that Liliana's not long for this world.
Yep. So now he's going to try for Olivia, which is almost certainly going to get a Snapcaster Rewind, which is pretty strong here.
Yeah.
Snap Dissipate.
That one works too. And he'll just pass the...
That's actually Prosak with 2 more lands in hand.
Oh,
so
2 lands, okay.
Yeah, he's flooding out pretty hard here. Drawing another Think Twice. He'll take out Liliana.
It doesn't matter though, because Adam Prosak has dealt with
another
all
land.
of Robert's threats. He just has a Bonfire left. Wow, another land for Robert. You know, even a Rakdos Keyrune would be good. A Farseek just to thin out the deck. Land is just the last draw here that he wants.
Storm Cycle. Maybe he did not draw Think Twice. I think yeah, but it was a Syncopate, it looks like. 2. So, alright, starting to chip away is Snapcaster Mage, and it's really Essence here. It's really just waiting for a Runechanter's Pike at this point.
Right, that or any Restoration Angel would be good too.
So there's just what you're talking about, Rakdos Keyrune with 6 mana up. He could Syncopate this.
You know, and that card is actually kind of a problem for Adam Prosak, especially in conjunction with that Wolfrun.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to me like it would be, you'd probably Syncopate it.
Yeah.
It's gonna or rewind it, sure.
Yeah, probably saving the Syncopate for something with Flashback or something that has benefit in the graveyard. Something like a Sever the Bloodline. Another land for Prosak.
So that's going to be land number 12 for Adam Prosak.
Yep, he's just going to keep making his land drops.
Interesting, yeah, his deck with only playing a 23 land deck, so it's already halfway through his lands. So he might be halfway through his deck, to be fair.
Yeah. And we haven't seen the Sphinx's Revelation pop its head up yet, so Adam Prosak, pretty far into his deck, has not drawn that card.
He does play one Sphinx's Revelation, which, you know, clearly I think if he drew right now would be the game.
Yep. Undoubtedly the game.
Robert Knowles, that's a look of frustration over on his side.
He's just trying to build up to a lethal bonfire, praying that Adam doesn't have another counter
I mean,
spell.
a lethal bonfire is a little ambitious. That's, you know, 17 mana.
Yeah, no, it's a lot. No doubt about it.
I'm going to cast Thundermaw Hellkite. That'll get Essence scattered. So Prosak, his counter magic suite, 2 Essence Scatter, 2 Syncopate, 1 Rewind, 2 Dissipate. So 7 in the main deck, and only 9 post-war.
Here's a bonfire for 1. Prosak will let that one resolve.
Yep.
Adam down to 8. Or 7.
He's going to opt not to use the Snapcaster Mage there, and that's pretty wise. Just right now, every card he has is a counter spell. There's no sense to make them anything that are not counter spells.
Right.
Because his deck is the one with the Think Twice is in it, Draw Go is a better game for him.
Yep.
So
And now this
now we'll get the
shows
snap.
how smart this play was. Gets to counter it.
Snapcaster Essence Scatter. He's really waiting to draw more land Pont.
Oh wow, that was a Restoration Angel drawn for Adam.
Yes. So it's,
Yet another counter spell.
yeah. Should be able to win just with the Snapcaster Mage in 6 turns.
Yep. He will not use that Restoration Angel until it's a guaranteed kill or a counter spell. Oh.
Looks like a Rakdos return for the lethal. Yeah, that's a Restoration Angel, Blinking Snapcaster Mage,
Counter spell.
Rewind.
Yep. And untap 4 lands for your troubles, Adam. And another Syncopate, or that, well, really that's the first Syncopate, will make Robert Knowles have to draw 2 straight spells to win this game. To even be in this game. Any land drawn for Robert Knowles will spell his doom.
Yep. Really, any spell. I don't think there's a draw that keeps him alive here. I'll cast Underworld Connections. It's the last card in his hand. I think with your Prosak, you let that resolve.
Yeah, I think so too. Your opponent's at 7 too, so
Yep, so you can only actually tap it once.
that one just passes. I would definitely have liked to see him use that main phase.
And Prosak will Thought Scour himself, putting 2 more counter spells into the graveyard, drawing another Restoration Angel. Alright,
Wow.
so even more counter spells for Adam Prosak. And he'll pass back. Knowles will drop to 1 to draw a card. And should get a concession here.
Yep, draws a Pillar of Flame, draws a Bonfire. I don't think it's going to be enough though. Looks like he can last ditch Bonfire for 4.
Well, Prosak has 2 more counter spells. I just don't see it. Yeah, I don't see anything that he can really do here.
Nope.
So it all kind of goes back to that turn. He had control of the board with the Garrick. There was one crucial turn where the momentum switched, and then Prosak really just buried him from that point.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Robert's plan was to start making these 1/1 Death Touch Wolves and then sacrifice them, getting things like Drag Tusk, but really 2/2s were the best thing he could do right there.
Right. I mean, it's possible, or if he doesn't want to lose to Detention Sphere, but he hasn't seen a Sphere yet. So I mean, maybe he may know that Prosak hasn't, but that's a little more aggressive than I would like.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And even if Prosak does have it, he can still start making more wolves. It's not like the Garrick's dead. So this is a Bonfire for 3.
Yeah. It's not even necessary to counter that, but yeah, he wants to do that, and then Pillar the Angel. All right, and that's it right there. Prosak wins 2-0 over Robert Knowles.
Congratulations, Prosak. He moves to 3-0. He's
Yeah.
a third of the way through the Swiss here, undefeated. With really, I think this deck's going to win the tournament. I already said that, but watching him on camera makes me double down
All right.
for sure.